us here, so we can wait, I guess, one more minute, wait for everyone to come in, and we can get started. Okay, everyone, I think everyone has joined in. I want to thank you for joining today's webinar on the top 5 barriers faced when using Inbox25 and SugarCRM. Now, before we begin, I did create a brief slide deck for us today, and we'll just run through some general housekeeping and the basic agenda, and then we can go into the live demonstration of the platform. So first up is the agenda. If anyone's joining us that has joined us previously, you all know that we do some general housekeeping in the beginning. Next up are what are the areas of Inbox25 and SugarCRM that we are covering. And then why is each area important and how does it influence my automation strategy? And finally, the live demonstration. So general housekeeping before we begin. If you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to drop them in the chat bubble below. We'll have a brief Q&A at the end of the webinar where I'll go through the questions. Any questions I don't get to, I will send in a follow-up email after the webinar has ended. This webinar, along with all of our other webinars, we have done previous webinar series before. They are recorded and placed on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/inbox252. And once again, follow us on Twitter at Inbox25 to get everything up to date inbox. We post relevant information and articles, as well as some updates going on with the business. So first up on the agenda, and probably most important, is going to be what is symsync? How does Inbox25 actually integrate with SugarCRM at a basic level? Well, symsync is a real-time, bidirectional flow of information constantly scans for updates between SugarCRM and Inbox25. So understanding its setup and processes is really integral to your marketing automation success with our platform. It's important to know that this scan happens every few seconds, so it's important to ensure that symsync is set up correctly the first time. Upon creation of your Inbox25 account, your first step is connecting that Inbox25 admin account to the admin account in your SugarCRM instance. This screenshot below on the screen is displaying your symsync dashboard. So the icon on the far left will display your SugarCRM version and the current module of Inbox25 you're currently running. So in our case, we're running Pro 7.5, and we have our newest module 4.5 installed. Now, if you notice that you're not using module 4.5 at the time of this webinar, you're going to want to go ahead and download our new module and reinstall it onto your instance. The middle icon displays your CRM performance, which will affect your sync speed. In this case here, we have roughly every 5 seconds. And finally, on the far right, we have the system status of your sync and the last time a manual update was ran. So understanding and setting up symsync. So downloading the module is pretty quick and easy, but there's a few things to remember. Remember to download the correct module. We have 2 separate module zip files. One module zip file is for people running Sugar 6.5 through 6.7, and the second zip file is going to be for those running 7.x and higher. Remember to always install the Inbox25 module onto an admin instance of your SugarCRM. You will know the module install is complete when you can access your SugarCRM, when you can access Inbox25 rather through your SugarCRM instance. And here is one very, very important note to keep in mind. Any and all users creating records or modifying records inside of your SugarCRM instance will need to have the module fully configured in order for symsync to pick up on real-time updates. The way you'll know if the module's been fully configured on someone's account is if they can access Inbox25 through their SugarCRM instance. Another way of putting that is if they have completed the module setup through that little screenshot on the screen here. So once they've completed that, we'll know the instance has been fully configured. Oops. So next here we have creating users and permissions. It's quite common to have multiple users using an Inbox25 instance. The admin user is responsible for creating and allotting permissions to all of the sub-users. So during the live demo, we'll be discussing how to create Inbox25 users and how to correctly map them to their corresponding SugarCRM accounts. Leveraging SugarCRM custom data fields. This is a big one. The health of your marketing database really starts with the quality of the data in it. So depending on your type of business, whether you're in something like software or manufacturing or finance, and anything in between, different types of data will be relevant to you. So SugarCRM allows for an endless creation of custom data fields that hold crucial information when designing a marketing strategy. But the big part is, what's all good with this information if we can't utilize it inside of our marketing automation platform? So in this section, we'll be discussing how to correctly sync over your custom data fields and utilize those data fields within Inbox25. Our fourth topic of conversation is going to be automating campaign logic or automated campaign logic with SugarCRM modules. Automation is sort of the key piece behind marketing automation. It's in its name. So to successfully implement and maximize the benefits of your marketing automation platform, we're going to want to understand how our automation interacts with SugarCRM. Inbox25's ability to directly target and influence data held inside your CRM is a core function of our platform and should really never go underutilized. So during the live demonstration, we'll be discussing some automated campaign logic when creating SugarCRM targeted campaigns, and we'll also go over some best practices as well, just for your automated campaigns for good reference. And last but not least here, we have utilizing target lists for pro marketers. Anyone using Sugar or Suite knows that SugarCRM target lists are really an integral part of data segmentation for both Sugar and Inbox25. When leveraged, they are a really powerful tool for targeted communication, but utilizing target lists for your pro marketer plan has a bit of a learning curve. It's nothing too difficult, and once you understand it, it's pretty much there with you forever. So in this section, we'll discuss how to use target lists for your eBlast and within automation. And that does it for our brief slide deck. So let's go ahead here and we'll jump right into the actual live demonstration. So what you're seeing on screen here is going to be my Sugar.7.5 instance. Now, as we mentioned, our first topic of conversation is going to be utilizing, or rather installing, symsync onto your instance. Now to do that, to get the module install, we go to our knowledge base, support.inbox25.com, and it's extremely easy to find our install article here. It's called Module Install and Setup. Now, I'm assuming most of you have the module installed, but for users that you want to have this module installed for, this might be a good reference point. But for anyone that does not have the module installed, you can go ahead here and download one of two modules, whether you're running 6.5 or 7.2 or greater. You download the module in the form of a zip file. Once that module is installed, we can head back to our SugarCRM admin instance. From here, we can travel down to our admin panel and travel right down to Module Loader. Here, we can upload our zip file for our module and then install it onto our SugarCRM instance. You can see here I have my Inbox25 module installed. It is enabled, and I can see the current version of the module I'm running, which is version 4.5.3, which is our newest version. So make sure you have that version connected. And also, for important reference, I can also see the actual module version for my Sugar instance. So in this case, I'm running Sugar.7.5. I have the Sugar.7.x module installed. So you'll know if you have the incorrect module installed from this screen here. Now let's head back into Inbox25 and take a deeper look into symsync. Okay, so you should all be familiar with this screen here. This is your Inbox25 dashboard. And one important note as well is you'll know if your Inbox25 module is fully configured if you can access Inbox25 in an iframe within your Sugar instance. That means you've run the whole setup process, you've linked the two accounts together, and now your Inbox25 module is installed as an iframe inside of SugarCRM. So let's head over now to our symsync dashboard. It's this far right icon here, and it's going to bring us to our SugarCRM dashboard, or as I like to call it, a symsync dashboard. Now, we already did discuss the top three icons here. So now I want to discuss the bottom icons and what these actually mean. Here we can see all of the SugarCRM stock modules that Inbox25 integrates with. We do integrate, of course, with SugarCRM's four main modules, your leads, contacts, targets, and accounts. But we also do integrate with 9 additional secondary modules. Now, when you initially activate symsync through your module configuration, all of these modules will be turned off. As you see, my targets here is turned off. Now, you may not be using all 13 of these modules, so we allow you to go ahead and activate the ones that are relevant for you. So if you're not using calls or cases or tasks, you can go ahead and leave those off. Once the module is activated, we'll begin the data sync of each module. Once a module has been activated, it will go ahead and read manual sync under each of the corresponding modules here. Now, some important notes about manual sync. A manual sync will only need to be ran in an instance if your SugarCRM goes offline and we're unable to pull in any updates, or if you wish to sync over any new custom data fields, which we will discuss in our custom data field area there. But those are really the only two instances where a module manual sync is necessary. CRM goes offline, or for any reason symsync has been disconnected, or if you wish to bring over or sync over any new custom data fields. At this point, symsync is activated and your real-time data sync is operational. So now we come to the part of understanding and managing user permissions within SugarCRM and Inbox25. It's pretty common for each member of your team maybe to have a different role within your Inbox25 account. As an example, Jane may be in charge of email creative, while Sal is assigned for creating and deploying automated workflows. Creating sub-users inside of Inbox25 is really quick and really simple. But before we can start mapping over and creating users, one important note to remember is the user module on your symsync dashboard will need to be activated and turned on. What this does, it'll sync over all the existing user profiles from SugarCRM to Inbox25. So before we go ahead and start syncing over or start creating users, make sure that this user module here is turned on. So to start creating Inbox25 sub-users, let's head over to our general settings icon here and click Manage Users. From this screen, we can see all the managed users we have set up in the account. So let's go ahead and click on a managed user here. We'll click on Alex Borak, one of my fellow colleagues here at Inbox25. Okay, and now we are brought to our user creation screen. Now, of course, you're going to want to input the basic information here, your name, your title. One important thing to remember, I know I'm saying this a lot, one important thing to remember is the email address of your sub-user will serve as the login for that user's profile within Inbox25. You can configure their password. Most of the time, it'll be something temporary, so they can go in and change the password later on. And now we come to the point of connecting these two profiles together. So Alex has a user profile in Sugar, and now Alex has a user profile in Inbox25. Really simple to connect the two profiles together. This drop down here will display all of your synced up SugarCRM users. And go ahead and just click on Alex Borak here to match up his corresponding profiles. One important thing to remember though, if Alex is going to be creating or modifying record data in SugarCRM, this step is not going to be enough. What Alex will need to do is log on to a Sugar instance and configure the module identically. If you want something more specific, we can run through more specific criteria here. And I'm not going to go through every single one here, but we give you creating automated campaigns, creating scorecards. You can give your users access to different landing pages, whether it be viewing reports or editing them. You can allow them to manage certain scorecards. You can allow them, and this is a very big one, list management. Can they create new lists? What access do they have to certain target lists? Do they have access to certain SugarCRM modules? Maybe they don't have access to accounts, but they have access to leads. You can all go ahead and configure that on this screen here. It really just depends on what permissions you want to allot your particular sub-users. But once again, the most important point I want to keep emphasizing is that if users are creating or modifying record data inside of SugarCRM, we will need to fully configure the module for them to have their updates be picked up by symsync real time. And that sort of does it for our little section on permissions. So now I can move over to our custom data field section. Because all of your record data is housed inside of Sugar, it's essential that Inbox25 can utilize it. Besides SugarCRM stock modules, or stock data fields I should say, like email, title, company name, etc., Inbox25 can fully leverage custom data fields inside of your SugarCRM instance. In order to sync over your SugarCRM data fields, whether stock or custom, we're going to have to travel over to our symsync dashboard. Let's go ahead and do that now. Perfect. So on our symsync dashboard here, I had mentioned, I think briefly before, that if you're syncing over new data fields, we do that by clicking manual sync on one of the 4 main modules, as the 4 main modules are normally where the bulk of your data fields are held. So click on manual sync here. We see we have a list of all the data fields, both stock and custom, that are inside the platform, or that are available to be synced up to the platform. We can simply select which data fields you wish to sync over, but remember, custom data fields are module specific, meaning if you create a custom data field in your SugarCRM leads module, that data field is not available in contacts. You can always go ahead and recreate that same data field in contacts, but it will need to be synced over separately under the contacts module. So you can see here all of these data fields that have leads in front of it are going to be custom data fields that we have created. And quite a few of them have to do with Rodney Dangerfield. But once again, any custom data fields you create will need to be manually synced over from this screen here. And for all of your custom data fields, maybe in opportunities or calls or meetings, we sync those over automatically to be used with automation. So if you have a custom, the opportunities module, you have a custom tag saying, opportunity is cold, warm, or hot, we'll pull over that custom data field for you. No need to have that done manually, like this process here. So now that we've discussed syncing over custom data fields, let's now explore how we can utilize these custom data fields within Inbox25. The ability to leverage custom data fields means the amount of information one can gather from your leads is pretty much endless. We can pretty much gather any type of text-based information that we want. So we're not confined to just the basic sales information, like I mentioned before, your company name, or your website, or your lead source. We can go even further than that and include all types of relevant information for your business. So the most obvious form of information gathering then is of course going to be through landing pages and forms. The point of landing page and forms is to get that first initial touch on your lead and entice them in with some kind of a great message and get their contact information. So let's head over to our landing page builder now, and I'll show you guys how to utilize custom data fields within the confines of our landing page. Just have to refresh the screen there. And we'll head over to Page and Forms and our landing page manager. Perfect. So we're going to go to a very familiar face, a very familiar landing page here. Our Fly in Luxury with Jetstream Corp. I know a few of you should be familiar with this landing page here. And this landing page does utilize custom data fields, so it's perfect for our example here. So what we're going to be most concerned with in this particular demonstration will not be the design aspect of the landing page. We do have a future webinar, I believe it's on June 2nd, that is dedicated solely to building out beautiful high-impact landing pages with Inbox25. So if you have not already, go ahead and register for that. But what we're concerned with today is mapping over Inbox25 landing page form fields to their corresponding form fields inside of SugarCRM. But before we map any data fields, we first need to decide what SugarCRM module this landing page will be mapped to. And this is sort of the first step in any landing page creation process, is to figure out when someone fills this landing page out, what actually happens. So in this case, we have our form synced with the leads module here. So when someone fills this landing page out, they'll be created inside of my leads module. An important note, if a record exists as a lead in your database and your landing page is mapped to the leads module, we will not create a duplicate record, as the lead is already existing in your database. But if a lead fills out this form and this landing page is mapped to your contacts module, because they are two different list types now, we're talking about leads and contacts, we will create a duplicate record inside of your instance with that contact information, with that contact record under contacts. So be wary when you're sending these landing pages out to what module you want this information going to. If you're sending to all leads, as an example, you're not going to want to have this landing page mapped to contacts. You're going to have it mapped to leads. So we can then append the already existing record information. So once we have our module mapped to leads here, it's time to start creating our form fields inside of our landing page to use for mapping. Now in this case here, I have one created. It's how did you hear about us, our trusty how did you hear about us. And in this case, it's mapped as a drop-down. Now if I click on my little settings icon here next to how did you hear about us, I'll bring up my actual creation screen. So what this is now is just a basic drop-down field that I've labeled how did you hear about us. And I've gone ahead and mapped it back to the corresponding SugarCRM data field called how did you hear about us, which I before synced over to the platform through a manual sync process. Now another important best practice, if you're utilizing SugarCRM drop-down menus, the way the coding works with the drop-down menus is a little bit tricky. So if you have SugarCRM fields inside of Sugar, of course, that are drop-down menus, and you wish to have those be influenced by Inbox25 landing pages, you will need to have the Inbox25 form field be a drop-down menu with the identical parameters put in place. So if this how did you hear about us form field in Sugar was a drop-down, I need to identically match it to the exact values and order that is mapped to in Sugar. So if web search is the first value inside of SugarCRM my dropdown, it would have to be the first value in my landing page. Just an important best practice to be wary of if you're going to be utilizing SugarCRM dropdown menus. As I mentioned before, custom data fields are module specific. So remember to select the correct module to sync with this form with the correct data fields displayed. So if you have a module, if you have as an example, a data field inside of your leads module that's called how did you hear about us, this data field will not automatically be put into your contacts module, so it won't be available. So make sure you select the correct module that your data fields reside in. Now besides landing pages, we can also use custom data fields inside of automated campaigns. So we can leverage custom data fields as a condition to initiate a certain workflow. So if someone matches a certain data field, or we can use that as an action updating a data field inside of SugarCRM. So if we want to automatically update a certain value inside of Sugar, we can go ahead and do that inside of our automated campaign menu. And since we're speaking about automation, that sort of wants to bring me to my next part here, which will be discussing automated campaign logic in relation to CRM lists and target lists. So let's go ahead now and leave this page, and we'll head over to our landing page, or our automated campaign manager rather. Let's go ahead now and create a basic automated campaign. So here's our automated campaign editor. So the first step when creating an automated campaign is to select which module from SugarCRM you're pulling your information from. So you see here we have select list. Now an important note, automated campaigns can only target one CRM module at a time. If you have selected the leads module, the engine will only scan for leads that meet your defined criteria inside of that leads module. So you select leads here. If you have conditions, whether it be matching data fields, email opens, landing page conversions, website visits, the engine will only look for leads that match these conditions. If you wish to target multiple modules, encompass multiple modules, it's very simple. You would simply finish this automated campaign and then clone it, and then change the module you're targeting. Basically, two-click solution there. So I would change the leads module to the contacts module, as an example, with the identical parameters put in place. And now I'm targeting both modules. This same logic applies to target lists as well, which we will discuss briefly after this. But the same logic does apply to target lists. So target lists can contain a mixture of different modules, whether it be leads or contacts or accounts. So if you select a target list condition, the engine will only use those records within the target list that are contained in the initial module you're pulling your information from. So if I have a target list that contains both leads and contacts, the target list condition in this campaign will only target those leads inside of my target list. If you wish to hit everyone, simply clone the workflow and do the same process you would do before. Just change the module here from leads over to contacts. Also, we generally don't recommend this as a best practice. We don't recommend using automated campaigns for simple one-time email blasts, just because of the strict parameters put in place here that we can only target one module. With our basic email campaign wizard, it serves much better in this respect in that we can target multiple modules at one time. The automated campaign wizard is normally used for either drip marketing or doing some kind of complex workflow where maybe an email is sent out, but some other actions will follow up. And last but not least, just for some more basic campaign logic, it's important to remember that a record can never go through the same campaign twice. So once a record has been eligible and started an automated campaign, even if they don't complete it, the campaign will never be eligible for that record again. This is to ensure that you're not hitting your records twice. If you wish to hit your records twice, once again, we go to our trusty clone tool and clone the automation, and that will reset the automated workflow to hit that target again. So we briefly discussed target lists. Now I want to discuss a little bit more about the target list function for pro marketers inside of Inbox25. As I mentioned before during my slide deck, target lists are a really powerful tool for SugarCRM, as it allows for simple but robust data segmentation. Once your Inbox25 module is configured and symsync is enabled, go ahead and activate your target list module on your symsync dashboard. Let's go ahead and show you that now. So we'll head over to our symsync dashboard here, and target lists are going to be one of the modules we do integrate with here. So you can see here we have our target list module activated, and it's running with a list count of 22 target lists. Perfect. The only criteria that target lists need to meet in order to be synced up to our platform is that the target list type inside of SugarCRM will need to be set to default. That's the only parameter. We'll pull in all target lists as long as the target list parameter is set to default. The target list type is set to default. So if you notice for any reason that target lists are not being synced over, the most common reason is because the type is not set to default. So go ahead and just go ahead and change that, and then it should be synced over, no problem. Now, for those that wish to utilize target lists as a segment for eBlasts on a pro marketer plan, there's a little bit of a process we need to take in order to get this done. In our platform, the direct sending to SugarCRM target lists through the basic email campaign wizard, and I really want to emphasize here the basic email campaign wizard. We're not talking about any sort of automated campaign function here. So the direct sending of target lists through the basic campaign wizard is reserved for those that are on our email marketing platform. That being said, the solution to using target lists as a data segmentation tool for eBlast under your pro marketer plan is a simple two-click solution. So since we cannot send to SugarCRM target list directly, what we need to do is create what we call inside of Inbox25 an auto segment. This auto segment is going to be an exact replica of your target list, but used within the Pro Marketer parameters. So to utilize our auto segment feature, we have to go to Reports here, and then go down to Target Lists. This screen displays all of your synced over target lists, as well as the ability to auto segment them. So for completeness purposes, and because this does cause some confusion, I'm going to explain some of the other metrics provided on this screen before we talk about auto segmentation. So records in your CRM represents the hard value, or the hard value of the amount of SugarCRM records held within that target list. This includes records without an email address, the records that are bounced, or records that are invalid. Imported over here represents the amount of records synced over that have a valid email address, that are not bounced or unsubscribed, or have no email address associated with them at all. And finally, active represents the amount of records as a final total that are considered an active target in the platform. This metric accounts for records considered inactive within Inbox25, either through manual input or through automation. So now that we've covered the varying metrics, let's go on to discuss auto segmentation. So on the screen here, we see all of our target lists. To create an auto segment of your target list, simply check off the box. So we'll check off the box here and click Save Changes. This will begin the process of creating your segment. Select on your email recipient screen. And we can see here on the top, the system is processing your segment. So the fantastic feature of auto segments is that these created segments are auto updated, meaning as you add records to your target list inside of SugarCRM, those records will automatically be added to your auto segment to ensure you're not leaving anyone out. So let's now head over to our recipient screen to show you what these segments look like on your recipient screen for your email campaign. So we'll go to a Save Campaign draft here and just choose a sample campaign. Perfect. So now we're on our email recipient screen. One thing to keep in mind is depending on the size of your segments, it may take a few minutes to create and populate. So don't worry if nothing is displayed immediately. Give it a few minutes and the segment will be created. So we can see here all of our different segments. We have our accounts module in Sugar, our contacts module in Sugar, and our leads module in Sugar. And underneath them, all of your created segments, which are based identically off of your target lists. So important thing to remember is that target lists can be compiled of more than one SugarCRM module. That's not a problem in the system. If your target list contains a mixture of both leads and contacts as an example, we will simply create two separate segments under each individual module with the same exact name. So in this particular instance, our active leads segment here contains contacts and leads. So to encompass that whole segment, we'll go ahead and just check both those boxes off. It's as simple as that. We've now selected two segments, or one segment I should say. We can scroll down here and click Next Step. And that's how you would send to a target list using auto segments inside of Sugar, or inside of Inbox25. So I think that brings us to the end of the webinar. Hope everyone has enjoyed it and learned something they were unaware of before. So now I'm going to answer any questions that were asked during the webinar. So if you have a question, please feel free to drop it in the GoToWebinar chat bar below or the question bar, and we can get to those now. Okay, I see one here. Does Inbox25 allow for the complete creation of automated campaigns and landing pages? Yes, we do. You can create as many landing pages and automated campaigns as you like. We give you no cap on that. So there's nothing to worry about on that front. What is sync score? Interesting question. Okay, let's talk about that for a bit. Let's go over to our sync score here. And to get to that, we go to our symsync dashboard. So your sync score involves lead scoring inside of Inbox25. And if we scroll down here, we see sync score. If you're utilizing a lead scoring strategy within the platform, what sync score does is it allows you to put in the sync score, or the lead score for the record inside of your SugarCRM record profile. So what that does, if it's turned on, the Inbox25 profile will have a lead score associated with it. We can go ahead and embed that lead score into the profile inside of Sugar. We actually have a webinar next week dedicated completely to lead scoring, which will discuss sync score and lead scoring strategies in more detail than I am now. So if you have not signed up for that already, I highly, highly recommend you do so. It's going to be a very informative webinar discussing everything lead scoring, best strategies, and how to go about implementing that in Inbox25. So see if you have any more questions here. Okay, it seems to be it. If you think of any further questions later on, please feel free to email me at james.verdi@inbox25.com. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So I hope this webinar has been informative and helpful to getting these two great platforms integrated to start implementing with your marketing strategy. So once again, as a reiteration, all of our webinars are recorded and placed on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/inbox25tube. And on that note, that sums up today's webinar. Hope everyone has a great rest of the day and a fantastic weekend. Cheers.